Under the pale moonlight, Khaled wakes up in a dark cell, his hands chained to the wall. He wonders how his journey led him to this cursed land. A guard throws a piece of bread at his feet. Khaled refuses to eat, his eyes fixed on the distant door. Through a tiny window, he sees the blood-red sunset over Amareta. This is not how my story ends, he mutters to himself. He remembers the betrayal that brought him here, a trusted ally who sold him out to the rulers of Amareta. The memories of peaceful days in Zykola haunt him. Everything changed the night they came for me, he whispers. A fellow prisoner warns Khaled to stay quiet or risk execution. But Khaled's silence hides his burning desire for revenge. That night, Khaled dreams of the voices of his loved ones. Their words fuel his will to survive and fight back. The dungeon echoes with the cries of tortured captives. Khaled clenches his fists, determined not to break. A mysterious hooded figure visits the dungeon, pausing by Khaled's cell but saying nothing. The next morning, Khaled is dragged into the main courtyard. The citizens of Amareta gather to witness his punishment. Chains rattle as the guards force Khaled to his knees. "I am not afraid of you," Khaled shouts defiantly. The ruler of Amareta steps forward, cold and calculating. "Your defiance will cost you everything," he declares. Khaled stares into the ruler's eyes without flinching. "I've already lost everything," he replies. The crowd erupts in whispers, many secretly admiring Khaled's courage. The ruler orders Khaled to be taken back to the dungeon, but Khaled's spirit remains unbroken. That night, the hooded figure returns to Khaled's cell. "I can help you escape, for a price," the figure says. Khaled hesitates, unsure whether to trust this stranger. "Why would you risk helping me?" he asks. The figure reveals a scar on his arm, a mark of rebellion. "We share the same enemy," he whispers. Khaled agrees to the deal, determined to regain his freedom. "Tell me what I must do," he says firmly. The figure hands Khaled a small, rusted key. "Tonight, your fate changes," he says before disappearing. Khaled waits patiently for the guards to fall asleep, his heart pounding as he grips the key tightly. He unlocks his chains with trembling hands. Freedom feels closer than ever. Creeping through the shadows, Khaled avoids the guards. Every step brings him closer to the outer gates. A sudden noise alerts a guard nearby. Khaled freezes, holding his breath in the darkness. The guard passes by without noticing him. Khaled exhales quietly and continues his escape. He reaches the main gate but finds it locked. "I won't stop now," he whispers to himself. Khaled spots an old ladder leaning against the wall. It's risky, but it's his only way out. He climbs carefully as the wooden rungs creak, the moonlight guiding his desperate ascent. Halfway up, the ladder shifts dangerously. Khaled holds on tight, refusing to fall. Finally, he reaches the top of the wall and looks down at the dark wilderness beyond. Khaled jumps down into the thorny bushes below. Pain surges through him, but he keeps moving. The wilderness is silent except for distant howls. Khaled knows he must find shelter before dawn. He follows the sound of running water nearby, a small stream offering him a moment to drink and rest. In the moonlight, Khaled spots strange markings on rocks. "They're guiding me, but to where?" he wonders. As dawn breaks, Khaled stumbles upon an abandoned hut and decides to hide there until nightfall. Inside the hut, he finds old maps of Amareta's borders. "This could lead me back to Zykola," he thinks. Khaled studies the maps carefully, tracing possible routes. He realizes the path ahead will be dangerous and long. A sudden knock on the door startles him. Khaled grabs a wooden stick, ready to fight. The hooded figure enters, carrying supplies. "You'll need these if you want to survive," he says. Khaled accepts the supplies with a nod of gratitude. "I owe you my life," he admits. The figure warns Khaled about the patrols hunting him. "They won't stop until you're dead," he cautions. Khaled grips his sword tightly, feeling his resolve harden. Let them come, he responds. That night, Khaled leaves the hut under the cover of darkness, the road to freedom stretching endlessly before him. The wind carries distant sounds of horses, patrols are closer than he thought. Khaled hides behind thick bushes, holding his breath as torches pass by. Once the patrol disappears, he resumes his journey through the rough terrain. He remembers the faces of those he lost, each step pushing him to fight for justice. The night sky above seems to watch over him as he trudges forward. Khaled senses he's being followed, but keeps his pace steady, not showing fear. Suddenly, a wild dog lunges at him from the shadows. He fends it off with his stick, narrowly escaping harm. Exhausted, he finally reaches the edge of a dark forest. He knows crossing it is dangerous, but there's no other path. The forest is eerily silent, branches creaking as if whispering secrets. Khaled presses on, guided by the faint glow of distant stars. A river blocks his path, its current strong and unwelcoming. Without hesitation, Khaled dives in, struggling against the icy water. He reaches the opposite bank, shivering but alive. Beyond the river lies a narrow mountain trail that leads toward Zykola's border. Khaled begins the climb, his muscles aching from exhaustion. As he ascends, memories of home flood his mind, giving him strength. Halfway up, loose rocks slide beneath his feet, threatening to send him falling. He steadies himself and keeps moving upward, determined not to look back. The climb feels endless, but Khaled finally reaches a small plateau to rest. From there, he can see the distant lights of a village. Hope glimmers on the horizon. He descends carefully, eager yet cautious about what awaits below. At the village outskirts, he notices it's eerily quiet, as if abandoned. Khaled steps inside cautiously, sensing unseen eyes watching him. A soft rustling in the shadows puts him on edge. A child emerges, holding a lantern, startled by Khaled's presence. Khaled lowers his sword to show he means no harm. "I'm just passing through," he says gently. The child warns him about the soldiers who raid the village at night. Khaled promises he'll leave before dawn to avoid bringing danger. The child points him toward a safer route across the valley. Grateful, Khaled departs quietly, disappearing into the misty night. As the first rays of dawn touch the horizon, Khaled feels the weight of his journey but refuses to slow down. Ahead lies the valley that separates him from the lands beyond Amareta, and he knows his greatest trials are yet to come.